This video is sponsored by Squarespace, your #1 stop to creating a beautiful online space. Hey gang, and welcome to another Animal Crossing video. I am Crossing Channel, and today I want to talk about a hidden feature within Animal Crossing New Horizons which could be affecting the villagers in your game. It could even make some villages completely inaccessible for you. A lot has changed with this particular feature since the huge 2.0 update as well that a lot of people still don't know about, so I wanted to highlight that within this video. This is related to something known as the move-in queue or the void, which is basically a place that villagers can end up when they're either moving into your island or they're moving out of it. In simple terms, villagers that are in your move-in queue which are waiting to autofill a plot on your island once it's empty will come from other players online, and there can be up to 4 villagers in the move-in queue at any given time. Now, there's a lot more to it, it's quite a complicated thing, so I'm going to link in the description a video from Koramora who did a really fantastic analysis of the move-in queue. But what I want to focus on in this video is that effectively, 4 villagers can become inaccessible in your game for the most part if they end up in your move-in queue, and there's even more ways this can happen since the 2.0 update as well that you might not know about. Now, one of the most common ways the move-in queue can affect you in Animal Crossing New Horizons is that you can't see any villagers who are in your move-in queue on mystery tour islands. So if you go on a villager hunt, which is something a lot of people do, and the villager is already in your move-in queue because they've arrived from a friend's island that you visited, then you won't be able to see them at all on your hunts, which means you could spend a ton of time hunting for a certain villager and not end up seeing them at all, which would be incredibly frustrating honestly, and something that I imagine has actually happened to a lot of people. In fact, I'm fairly confident that it has even happened to me quite a few times when I've gone on my villager hunts when I've been doing a live stream and such. Of course, not everyone will end up visiting other islands or have someone visit them, but it's still a common enough thing where it definitely could affect your game in this way. Since 2.0, it's also been discovered that there is a new way this can actually affect you, and that is in Happy Home Paradise. If a villager is stuck in your moving queue, and once again there can be up to 4 villagers in there, then they will not appear on your Happy Home Paradise beach. That means that if you're trying to complete every Happy Home Paradise home for every single villager, or you're just looking for more characters maybe to unlock more items, or just do more homes in general for whatever reason that you may have, if they're in your move-in queue, you'll have to cycle through them before you can see them on the beach again, or of course move them into your island and then use the chocolate to invite them to Happy Home Paradise. This definitely feels like a more subtle way that could affect players, especially those of us who are trying to do as many homes as possible, and maybe even do every single home in Happy Home Paradise. We see so many different villages on the beaches, yet it's entirely possible that some of the villages you're wanting to do homes for simply can't appear there because they've arrived to the void or the move-in queue and you just don't know it yet. At the start of the game, there was another problem with the move-in queue as well, but Nintendo thankfully seems to have fixed this. It was the fact that if you tried to invite a villager to the campsite using their amiibo card in resident services, yet they were in your move-in queue, you would simply get interference and they wouldn't be able to come to your campsite at all. Thankfully, this does seem like something that Nintendo has actually patched now, which is really good news, although it doesn't seem like they have any intention of patching anything else related to the moving queue, despite the fact that it could be a bit of an issue for people who are hunting for certain villagers or want to see them in Happy Home Paradise, yet simply don't know that they're already in the move-in queue. It's also worth mentioning that as it stands, you also can't see these villagers in your move-in queue arrive randomly at the campsite either, so that's another way that you'd kind of be locked out of getting certain villagers. The move-in queue was kind of a thing back in Animal Crossing New Leaf as well, however it definitely seems to be much more of a problem here in New Horizons due to the many different ways that you can actually find villagers in the game. I also don't think there's a concrete way of finding out exactly who is in your move-in queue currently unless you cycle through all of them by moving them into the empty plots on your island, which could take a lot of time. However, if you do feel like you are missing certain villagers who are in the move-in queue, then it could definitely be a good idea to cycle through them just so there's not someone stuck in there who you actually do really want to live on your island or you want to see on the Happy Home Paradise archipelago. Overall, this is a bit of an iffy feature, and it's honestly kind of frustrating that Nintendo hasn't fixed this. Maybe they don't necessarily see it as much of a problem, or maybe it's just too complicated for them to mess with. However, it definitely feels like something that Nintendo could take some time to adjust. After all, we have seen a lot of bug fix updates in the recent months, so it'd be really good if maybe they took the time to address some of the issues with the move-in queue, like you completely not being able to see certain villages if they are stuck in it. Though, given how much time they've already had to do this since it's been a thing since the very start, I honestly don't think that's going to be happening at any point, and I really doubt that Nintendo even realizes that we know about the moving queue, as, like I mentioned, it is a hidden feature. It's not exactly something that they talk about or something that is openly mentioned within the game, so generally speaking, the average player may not know about this at all. In fact, I didn't even realize this myself until last month, so who knows just how many villagers I've tried to hunt for, yet I've not actually been able to find since they've been in my move-in queue. I feel like it's also worth mentioning that your move out queue, which is where villagers end up when you take them off your island, can actually store up to 10 villagers as far as I'm aware. So that means you could be giving away these 10 villages to different people that you visit as well, and they could end up in their move-in queue. Maybe it's a good idea to keep track exactly of who has left your island recently if you do go online a lot, so you can warn other people about potential villagers that could move in and out of their island. With all the changes to random move-ins in Animal Crossing New Horizons compared to New Leaf, where villagers won't effectively completely randomly move into the plots, I would have thought Nintendo wouldn't keep this sort of void autofill type feature in the game. It does get a bit frustrating, especially if you do end up with villagers that you never wanted to begin with, so hopefully this is something that they will address in the next Animal Crossing game, or maybe do some kind of minor fix for it, at least in terms of Happy in Paradise, for Animal Crossing New Horizons as well. Though for now, I'm not getting my hopes up, as I feel like they wouldn't change it since it's been like this since the very start of the game. I just didn't expect it to affect the beach either. But let me know in the comments section down below, what do you think about the move-in queue and the void in Animal Crossing New Horizons? How much do you think it has affected you? Well, leave your thoughts below, and now let's have a word from our sponsor. Want to create a website but don't know where to begin? Squarespace is here to give you a powerful online platform from which to create your very own. With Squarespace, you can connect with your audience and generate revenue through members-only content, manage your members, send email communications, and even get audience insights, all on one easy-to-use platform. You can even create a community on your Squarespace website with an integrated commenting section that supports threaded comments, replies, and likes too. Now you can extend Squarespace's already powerful e-commerce capabilities with Squarespace extensions. These new third-party tools can help you manage inventory, promote your products, streamline bookkeeping, and ship items across the globe so even Bob can get them. You can also display posts from your social profiles on your website, though maybe I won't be sharing all of my posts. Go to squarespace.com for a free trial, and when you're ready to launch, go to squarespace.com/crossingchannel to save 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain. Well, I hope you enjoyed that video. If you did, be sure to leave a like to support the content. If you haven't already, be sure to subscribe and turn on channel notifications for more, and don't forget to comment Bob's Gang down below if you made it to the end. I want to give a big thanks to these channel members for their continued support of me and what I do here on this channel. If you want to become a channel member, click the join button down below the video or the link in the description to learn more. You can get a whole bunch of cool perks like exclusive emojis, a badge by your name, access to our members only Discord, and our members only podcast too.